Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the Rectified podcast. Today, I have a special guest because he's not a brand founder, he's actually an expert who can help you as a brand founder scale your brand and take it to a whole other level. Before we dive in, a quick ask. If you're watching or listening, hit subscribe or follow on whatever platform you're tuning in from. And don't forget to leave a review. It helps more founders like you find the show, and it helps us keep bringing these conversations to life. Edmond Matar, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Sandy. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Same here. Edmond, let's get started and tell us a little bit about what you do exactly with small businesses.
After working for like 20 plus years in commercial banking for different institutions, I started my own company 2 years ago. And I've been helping companies, like at the different stages of their life, getting financing. And so what I do actually depends on what type of companies, at what stage they are at this point. I meet with them, I listen to what they have to say, everything, and I check all their financials. And we work on a plan to see how to get them financing, different types of financing, whether line of credit, term loans, grants, because depending on, as I mentioned, at what stage the company is at that specific period of time.
So our audience is mainly product-based businesses, and they usually are stuck somewhere and they want to scale their brand. So at that stage, do you think it's a good place to be to ask for these loans and these types of financing?
It all depends. First, we'll have to see their business plan.
Yeah.
We have to see their projections. We have to see where they're heading and everything. And based on that, I'll tell them, you're better off getting this type of financing or that type of financing in order to be able to reach their objective.
Yeah.
So all depends on what is the real need and what's the objective.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear some businesses say, for example, we sold to this place, let's say a Metro or an IGA or something like that, and we had like a big purchase order, which is why they gave us the money, like the bank gave us the money. Do you think that's the ideal situation, or what do you advise people in that case?
Again, it depends. Why? Because it's good to have a Metro as a client, but having only Metro as a client also it's not good. So you should never have all your eggs in the same basket. So if you have several clients, including Metro, Loblaws, Costco, and all those, it depends on what type of products we're selling. That's very good. It helps a lot when you go see a bank. When you start negotiating for additional finance and all that, definitely it has a huge effect. And especially if you have an order from, let's say,
A
big store, you can easily get the finance, specifically for that order. So you have ways to do it. And so it all depends.
If you're a product-based founder, I'd love to invite you to join the Scale Partner community. It's a free space where founders like you can connect, share ideas, and support each other. Inside, you'll find other people like you who are building brands, workshops to help you grow, and conversations that make the journey feel a little less lonely. Come join us. It's completely free at community.rectified.co/scale partner. What do banks actually look for to give me or to evaluate my situation and to give me the appropriate financing?
That's a great question. It applies to any type of business. As a matter of fact, the bank first will see what is your product. It's very important. Second, which is for me, it's extremely important, and for the banks as well. Who are we partnering with? They want to know who are the shareholders, the people behind the products, because the founders. Why? Because are they in that business? They know it very well. They have an amazing CV. They've graduated. They are they have crazy innovations. So it's extremely important. Do they have very good credit as well,
Yeah.
which is extremely important because it tells you a lot about the character of the person. So if
Yes.
they've been respecting, they have very good credit history, they never defaulted on any payment, everything, it tells you a lot about what type of people as a bank I'm partnering with. So I need to partner with someone who will respect their
Yeah.
engagement. And definitely they have to have a certain net value,
Yes.
which is very important. Once you have all those, you'll sit and you'll check. We see the financial statements. We see whether the companies are profitable. We'll see what, like every category inside the financial statements. Do we have to adjust the financial
Yeah.
statements when we're working on the projections or anything? Do we have recurring expenses that we can eliminate? Like that, we'll have to
So you optimize also.
I have to optimize everything. So this is what I do with them. I work on a business plan. We prepare the projections. Like I prepared usually with the CPAs to
Yeah.
make sure that they're like very legitimate numbers, and that we've been extremely conservative. We already added everything, all the scenarios. Why every point that we add on the financial statement, we have to express like clearly why we did this, the reasons behind
Yeah.
it, and everything. So we have to refer everything, and taking all that into consideration,
Yeah.
we start mitigating every single risk. So you have to think as a credit adjudicator. When they see the file, is
Yeah.
the file solid? Is the bank protected? Do we have all the guarantees? Because
Yeah.
they love guarantees as well. But the banks are not in the business of taking back a business and sell it, or taking a building and resell it. No, they want to make sure that the future cash inflows from that business, they will be there, and they
Yeah.
will be able to pay off the loan or anything. So banks are in the business to make money.
Yes.
On the long run, they want to be they want to partner with people, successful people, because they want to both make money at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
this is what we
What
do.
if a company is a startup? Like they're just starting, they don't have a lot of sales. Do banks are banks interested in this type of companies too?
It depends, because every bank, we don't have many banks in Canada. So,
Yes.
like we have few banks.
Yes.
So your chances are that you have to build a solid file, even if you're a startup.
Okay.
So startup, it means the bank will have to partner with you, take a certain risk. Higher risk, it means higher interest as well
Higher
for the bank.
interest,
So,
yes.
like depending on the risks, because the bank, what they'll do usually, they'll do the credit risk rating of the company, which is based on their financial statements. It requires minimum 3 years to be able to see a certain fluctuation in your financial
Okay.
statements. This will give a certain rating to the company based on the numbers and based on who the people, the management, everything. So
Yeah.
you have two components of the risk factor of the company. When you're a startup,
Yeah.
so you work on the projections. So they will do a certain evaluation, but because you're a startup already, your risk is higher.
Exactly.
So really, it's extremely important to focus a lot on the people behind the business, their experience, their expertise, their credit history, and their net worth. So basically, they have to put some sweat in the company. So
Yeah.
they will have to put certain money in the company, and the bank will help them. But at the same time, they have to have some money aside. Why? Because when things go south, you have to
Yeah.
make sure that they have enough money to re-inject in the
So like
company.
a personal guarantee kind of thing.
Personal guarantee, there is always a personal guarantee.
Yeah.
It's you have to have some money aside to re-inject in the company
Yes.
if things go south.
Yeah.
So like if you
Something
lose
happens.
a
Yeah.
client, something, you have to be able to support. You have to maintain
Yeah.
the payments of your loans, everything. So
Yeah.
you have to have big lungs, like they
Yeah,
say. So
yeah.
it helps a lot when you're working
Okay.
on a financing file.
So ideally, it's better to be in business for at least 3 years to have the history and then come take the loan, because you'll get it cheaper also, not like a startup who's starting from scratch. In an ideal world.
In an ideal world, but still as a startup, you will always
Yeah.
like ask for some terms of
Yeah.
financing. don't forget, because you have also some loans guaranteed by the government when you also,
Yes.
so it helps you a lot reducing your personal guarantee, because it will be reduced only by the amount, like depending on what type of loans that you're taking. So, every stage of a company's life has its positive
Yeah.
things and negative
Negative
things.
things.
And they as an entrepreneur, so you go through all those
Yes.
stages,
Yes.
and you have to be always positive, make sure that working hard to be able to pay, and hoping to increase your revenues, profit, and everything, and then banks will be eventually treating you differently as well,
Of
because
course.
like you will your evolution, basically you'll go from small business to mid-size to
Yeah.
upper mid to hopefully one day to corporate finance as well,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah. That's where it's very important to have the right brand strategy also, because when you have the right branding and your name is known in the market, it probably also makes it easier because people know, oh, this brand, it's known here in Montreal or in Canada, and they will be more confident in giving you this loan. It's not just the numbers, but also how you are perceived in the market.
I totally agree, because perception is amazing, but
Yeah.
it goes back to the financial statements.
Yeah.
I saw companies very well perceived,
Yeah.
and they had really bad financial
Yeah.
statements. So
That's why they need both of us to put
exactly,
brand positioning and the right
I
financials.
agree. I totally agree with you.
So there are some organizations that work with entrepreneurs, and oftentimes they ask for two co-founders at least to give you a certain grant or a certain money. They don't ask for one person who's, the founder of the business. Is this also the case in banks, or it has nothing to do with it?
No, it has nothing to do. So all depends on how long a company is in the business. Depending on you could get some grants, but you have to have at least a
Yeah.
year or 2 years financial statements. They need to see that you did something. You're a certain advancement. Because as I mentioned, as a startup, it's very hard to get grants at first, unless if you're in technology. So it's a
Yes.
totally different
Yes.
ball game when it comes to that. So depending on the product, because those companies for years sometimes they don't make money, so
True.
they have negative
They're in the
they're
red.
in the burning, they'll tell
Yeah.
you what's the burning rate, how much do you need per month, whatever, because at a certain point they know in the future, they bet on making
Yes.
money in the future. So it's a different ball game. But yeah, in that case, I agree with you.
In our personal lives or in businesses in general, we have good debts and bad debts. In this case, what's the difference for businesses if you have good debt or bad debt and then you're coming to get more funding? Because businesses, they roll on borrowed money in most
Most of the time.
situations. Yeah. So how can you differentiate when you're analyzing the good from the bad?
Can you define bad debt for business?
Like, for example, let me give you this example in a personal life, and then you can
Okay.
see, like, if you want to build wealth in your personal life, bad that can be everything you put on your credit card to buy any, like, clothes or shoes or whatever, like things that,
Non-essential.
yeah, things that will not really increase your wealth as a human being.
Yeah.
And businesses oftentimes do that. They take that to, I don't know, buy those trees or buy whatever it is, while you can put that money in something that will actually generate revenue. Like, the decor of your space is not as important as, I don't know, investing in a salesperson or in some activity that will really increase the value of your business. So, does the bank differentiate between this and that?
If we can justify, so what happens is that in some cases, when you're a family business, you've been in business years, you want to reduce your profits to be able to pay less taxes.
Yeah.
So they tend to pass some expenses. When it's
Cars.
time, Yeah, cards, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
They do stuff different. They pass
Yeah.
it in their
Yeah.
expenses. And when it's time to sell the company, they can't sell it for a very expensive. Why? Because it's a multiple of EBITDA. So they'll
Yes.
see what's the EBITDA, and then it's like 5 times the EBITDA. The EBITDA is 1 million, but the client, the seller will come and tell you, no, I've been using it. So if we can justify, and he has the proofs that
Yeah.
like instead of taking a salary as a 100,000, you're charging a 500,000 salary. Yes, we will adjust eventually
Yeah.
that type of expenses, because if I'm a repreneur, someone who will buy a business,
Yes.
I'm not the bank for sure. If they're advancing finance, they're helping me financing, like finance
Yes.
that transaction. They'll tell me, yeah, how much do you need to survive? 80,000, 70,000, 100. This is your salary. So the guy who's selling, who never had debt on the company, because like it's free
Yes.
of debt and everything, he can charge 500,000 no matter what. Like
Easily.
it's easy.
Yeah.
But what they do is we adjust the EBITDA based on that salary. So we reduce by 400 if it's 100.
Yeah.
So we do all those adjustments, but we have to have the proof, and like we have to make sure that we have all the proofs to be able to say, look, we're doing all those recurring expenses, or like additional stuff
Yeah.
we can eliminate, and those are the true numbers. Yes, sometimes we do that.
Yeah. That's another way, by the way, to start a business, is to buy an existing one, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's a whole other thing. Can you share, for example, a story or a case study, something that somebody that you worked with and they were successful in getting the loans and increasing their business?
Oh, definitely. Like I have many great
Yeah.
stories, and usually, like it takes years to build a good credit as well, with
Yes.
even in commercial banking. So I remember I met with an entrepreneur from a different, like from a certain. Um, who is Lebanese, let's put it
Okay.
like this,
Yes.
for
Lebanese
example,
entrepreneur.
entrepreneur who never wanted to pay taxes, who was trying to avoid paying taxes.
Okay.
Like, so
Yes.
basically adding all those expenses to make sure that he's reducing as much as possible to pay the minimum possible. He had an opportunity to buy another business.
Okay.
And when you buy a business, we check all the revenues of the business that you're buying, or your business yourself.
Yes.
Can we create certain synergy? Can we reduce certain costs and all that? At that specific point of time, we didn't, like, the numbers were not there. And I told the guy, because it's because of all the stuff that he did. I told him that he had to work a bit, like show a bit more
Yeah.
profit, pay his
taxes.
due,
Yeah.
because
pay
it's very
taxes.
important. You want to stay small, you think small.
Yes.
You want to grow, you have to pay your dues
Yeah.
and make sure that everything is done properly. Because when you go see banks later on, you have greater, like chances to be able to achieve your goals and get the fundings.
Yeah.
So we did that over 2 years. We had several opportunities throughout the years. I've been helping them for the last now 16 years.
Okay.
They bought already 7 companies.
Okay.
And they grew to almost, they were making 3 million, and now they make around $88 million.
Okay.
So that's a typical success story, to be honest. And all that took them 15 years.
Yeah.
If they should have, decided to continue the way
Yeah.
they were, imagine you stay at
Yeah.
2 million, happy life, paying the
True.
minimum taxes.
Yeah.
But, now you're in the
Yeah.
medium to upper big leagues.
Yeah.
So.
So it took them 15 years. Just to let the audience know, it takes a lot of time to get there. You cannot make $80 million in 2 years, which is what everybody thinks they're able to do. We always see on social media people who are like, you're going to make 7 figures, you're going to make 8 figures in no time, and they want all those like get rich quick things. Meanwhile, it takes a lot of work and dedication, and I see it around me. with all the businesses I work with who have longevity, and around me also with my friends who are other business owners. And you're seeing that with the people you work with since all those years here in Montreal. It doesn't happen in 6 months. It doesn't happen in a year.
If sometimes people are lucky,
Yes.
but you're talking about a certain anomaly,
Exactly. They're the exception. They're not the rule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when it's too good to be true, I'm a very conservative person. It means
Yes.
it's not true.
Exactly.
So, it requires hard work, dedication. People, like, I see people working, Saturdays, Sundays,
Yes.
so it's not for everyone. Not everyone can become an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
I helped someone not long time ago, a couple of years ago. It was a startup. I helped them build the business. We got the financing and everything. And when they launched their products, one of the partners he collapsed, and
Wow.
he decided to sell his part. He
Okay.
said he couldn't take it enough. It's too much pressure. And imagine that was his baby for 3 years prior to starting on, working on that
Yes.
business, on the plan and everything. So it took him almost 5 years to realize that he wasn't meant to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So entrepreneurs are like heroes.
Yes.
It's not simple. It's not easy. You only see people when they're successful.
True.
But to become successful, you have to go through really tough times. Sometimes they don't sleep at night. They're always thinking, trying to analyze,
Yeah.
find, they try to find solutions and
Yes.
everything. I've met so many people throughout, like my 30 years work experience.
Yeah.
And it's impressive, all the dedication. So yeah, it requires hard work, dedication, and you have to be extremely disciplined. There is no secret recipe, but if you do it well,
True.
you do it very well, you keep on doing it, trust me, it's like small bite
Yes,
after
yes.
bite after bite, and the puzzle, you'll see the full picture
Yeah.
at a certain point.
Yeah.
But it requires some sacrifice.
If you're building a product-based brand, you don't have to do it alone. The Scale Partner community is a free space where founders connect, exchange ideas, and support each other. Inside, you'll find workshops, honest conversations about growth, and people who truly get the journey. Join us for free at community.rectified.co/scalepartner. You're talking, and I'm thinking about myself, all the ups and downs and everything that happens. And every single entrepreneur that I talk to on the podcast, they all say the same things, even on air or off air, but they all say the same things. They're all like, "Oh, how did you know I cried yesterday?" It's like you have to be very, very, very resilient, because some days you're making $0 and some days you're making 100K, and you don't know when that 100K is going to come or 500K is going to come. So you just have to keep on doing and never stop. It's actually a reps thing.
Yeah.
Just like working out.
Yes, exactly. Like I've been working out for
Yeah.
38 years.
Yes.
Never stop.
Yes.
And I love it. It's part of my life. You have to be
Yeah.
extremely disciplined
Exactly.
in your workout, in doing whatever you like to do. And, you have to have that habit of doing the stuff, depending
Exactly.
on what type of business. You have to send the emails, you have to do the calls, you have to meet the people, you have to keep on doing all those, and
Yeah.
eventually it will pay off.
Accept
So-
the rejections.
But you have to always accept
Yes,
the rejection.
yes.
It's part of the game,
Exactly.
if you don't knock on the door, you'll never, get an answer.
Yes.
So it's known, you'll get 9 rejections out of
Yeah, or
10.
hundreds
But the one
sometimes.
that you'll get, the yes that you'll get, it will be amazing.
Exactly.
It's like you won Wimbledon.
Yeah.
It's outstanding. And
Yeah.
we're talking about those small wins, one win after the other,
Exactly.
and you start giving you the piqûre,
Yes.
they say in French,
Yes.
and then you start loving it, and you start looking for those small pleasures,
wins. Yes.
the small
Yeah, yeah.
wins. So the small win will give you a bigger one, and then eventually, and
Exactly.
it's about the attitude. Because if you believe that it's not gonna work, trust me, it's not gonna work. You have to stay
Yes.
positive,
Yes.
make sure that you're doing what you have to do, be very disciplined, follow those steps, and you will get there. That's for sure. Exactly when it comes to banking, you have to respect your engagement toward the bank. You
Yeah.
have to make sure that you work hard to pay off your loans and your debt, and the bank will be there for you when
Yeah.
you want their
Exactly.
support to get to the second level. So it's always the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the thing that I say to all my consulting clients and the people in my community. If you don't do the work, you won't get the result. Like, they hire me and we talk about what they need to do, but at the end of the day, if they don't implement what we agreed on, they will not see the result. It's not about if I'm a good consultant or not. It's about how you as a business owner are acting, and if you're really doing the steps to get there. You know what I mean? So it's all also in your mind, sort of. So it's a mind and, the help of everybody who's around you. Speaking of mind, there are a lot of people who say, oh, I'll never qualify for a bank loan. Me as a business, I will never be able to do this.
You never know.
What do you tell them?
By how do you know? But you have to always like check and validate.
Yeah.
And it depends.
Yeah.
Basically, when you go see the bank, if you have a very bad credit, everything,
Yeah.
yes, you won't qualify for anything. So you have to start on your own, and you have to start small and grow eventually.
Yeah.
It has to be like internally.
Yes.
But if you have very good credit, you've been working very hard, you have some savings, everything, you have the experience and expertise, dedication, all this, trust me, with the help of someone like me,
Yes.
it's very easy to sell your story to a bank. Why? Because I'm telling the bank that you're betting on someone, on a winner. This is what we're doing. This is the business plan. This is the person behind the business. Those are the projections. This is the market study that we did. We know that we'll be able to do this, and extremely important to, when you work on a business plan with the projections, we have to respect those projections. A year from now, when the bank is doing a reevaluation for everything, if they see that we gave them certain projections and we were a bit conservative, so the company surpassed those projections,
Yes.
it's extremely important for me as
It's perceived
Edmond,
in a good way.
exactly, as the financial advisor, the consultant that helped the company, because we trust that person. Next time when they're working on a file, it will every bank, they have their red flags,
Yes,
the
of
no
course.
list consultants or clients or whatever, and they have favorite list as well.
True.
So it's good to be on that
Yeah.
list. So, and for the clients as well, when they achieve the target, when they will come in the next step of their business with new projections and everything, the bank will take them serious.
Yeah.
And they will be able to advance the funds, although like they don't have the numbers yet. However, we can get additional credit,
Yeah.
a lot of credit compared to the revenues at this point, because we know and we're betting on the entrepreneur that eventually within the next 12 months, he will be able to get, or she
Yeah.
will be able to get the business to the next level based on the previous history that they showed. They will be able to get those additional clients. They will be able to get those new products, in the market, and
Yeah.
because it's a partnership between the bank and the entrepreneur.
Exactly. So what's the difference if I'm a business and I go directly to a bank or to a place like the BDC or something like that, or if I come directly to you and work with you? What is the difference, or maybe the mistakes or things that I would make that you would help me in, like, avoiding these things, let's say?
It's a very good question. As an entrepreneur, you're not a finance guru usually.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
So for someone like me who worked for more than 20 years in commercial banking and analyze exactly, I know how credit thinks and everything.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day is about selling your story. So while mitigating all the risks. When I will meet the person and check the financials, statements, history, or projections, I'll tell them either what they're doing is good or we have to change and adjust because it's not really clear for the bank. They have to mitigate every single risk. So you have to think as a banker, as an adjudicator when you're working on a file.
Yeah.
And this is what I bring. Like with the bank, it's never easy. So it's always about fighting every single file.
Of course.
So as an entrepreneur, you don't have time to do that. It's a terrible headache. So what will happen is that instead of focusing on your business, you will start focusing on getting the finance. And that will put certain stress on you, like, on your productivity and all that. So hiring someone like me, I will be your pit bull in a
Yeah.
very smart way.
Yeah.
It's not just any pit bull because I want to make sure that your story is very well written
Yeah.
and it's very well heard.
Financially, with the numbers.
Exactly,
Yeah.
with the numbers, and we're answering every risk. So basically, we're mitigating every risk that the bank will think about, depending on the type of industries.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you might go to a bank. I speak with all banks on a weekly basis or every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know what's the basically sometimes they are in favor for some industries. Some industries that they don't support or things like that.
So you know what's trending within the
Exactly.
banks.
So when someone comes and to see me and they'll tell me about their business, I listen very well, and then automatically I link them to at least the bank that they have the appetite for that type of industry. And knowing that bank, I know exactly what they look for when doing the analysis, and we structure the file accordingly. So we have, like you don't have, it's never the same story. Every story is different. Every story has its music, and it's it's amazing. And you have to be able to. Funny enough, one of my recent clients told me, "You're the only one who managed to understand me like the way I think." So what I did is I managed to take whatever that client had in his head and on his, like, in financial statements and numbers and everything, and I was the coder. So I recoded his message from a financial perspective in a way that the bank will understand that entrepreneur. And we managed to get him the financing, although he went and saw 4 banks and he was declined in 4 banks previously. So because he wasn't able to convert whatever he had in the best way possible, he was never be able to channel it, in the best way.
I love how you frame this as telling your story through numbers. I think this has to be your tagline for your business.
No,
You
I
tell
love that.
stories with numbers. I always push the clients I work with to tell their story, but you're taking it to a whole other level with telling the story through numbers. Is it possible that today I come to you and I ask for some sort of help with financing, and you tell me, wait a little bit, work on 1, 2, 3, 4, and in like a year we reevaluate, or in 2 years because now is not the right time for you, and you also like consult them and guide them through the process?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of friends, clients, prospects. They keep on calling. I'm a very reachable person. Like, I love to talk, but I love to work as well. But but
You're friendly.
I'm a very friendly person. So they call, they ask for my advice. So it's always a pleasure. Definitely, I can tell them. As a matter of fact, 5 minutes before we went online, right now, I received a call. Someone sent me on WhatsApp the statements, And I replied automatically saying that's yes, it's doable, but you have to inject this amount of money. I did the calculation really fast.
Yeah.
So although like on other opportunities, I told them that we
Yeah.
couldn't do it. So
Exactly.
yeah, people keep on calling or
Yeah.
it's very important, and this is part of my branding.
Exactly.
Because I'm always available.
Yes.
I'm always rich. They can reach me easily. And
Yeah.
if
You won't give them an appointment in a month or
no,
something.
no, I'm not that type. I'll take the call, whether on WhatsApp,
Yes.
phone, whatever. If I am not busy, I will take the call. If I'm busy, I will either call them back within a couple of hours, or send them an email, or
Yeah.
I'll it's a different. And this is something that usually when few people inside banks
True.
they do it.
True.
So people, they have account managers, they reply after I don't know how many days, sometimes
Yes.
they don't. And it's gonna be my job to make sure that those guys reply ASAP, because I know these people. I know their VPs. I know sometimes the VPs of the VPs, like
Yes,
executive
yes.
vice president
Yes.
and all that. So it helps a lot, the fact that I've been in banking enough time and I've been around. So knowing people is extremely important inside banks.
Exactly.
I can get some information from within banks, will help working on the file. You will I do some teasers sometimes. I send them to the banks. They'll tell me, yeah, we're interested in that file, but
Yeah.
definitely we need additional information. Then I'll send the information.
Exactly.
So that those are stuff that usually entrepreneur can do
True.
directly.
It's very interesting how when you have all like 20 years experience, same for me, the minute you see something, like you said, you saw the financials on WhatsApp and you immediately thought, okay, you did the math very quickly because you have that experience and it just happens. It's the same thing happens with me. The minute I see a brand, I either say, oh, they did a good job, I understand what they are and everything that they're about, or I say they need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And it just comes to your brain because you've seen this,
Yeah.
for the longest time. And you were an insider. You used to work inside the bank and you know how it really functions. So it makes also a big difference.
Yes.
Just like I used to manage a product-based business. So I'm doing a lot of parallels here. But we need to wrap this up. I know we can talk forever. We need to wrap this up. I need you to give one advice to any entrepreneur who's there, who wants to scale their brand and their business, and they're afraid or they don't want to take a loan or whatever mental block they have. What do you tell them?
I'll tell them only one thing. You always have to seek help and ask for advice. Like if you don't, and sometimes like they miss on a huge opportunity. How do you know whether the idea is amazing or it's doable or not if you don't ask for someone's advice, a professional's advice, and usually ask for two people to be able to compare, because it's always good to seek advice. When it comes to branding, they can call
That's
you.
why
When
we
it comes to
exist.
finance, they can call me, and it's always a pleasure, because not seeking help, it's not a sign of weakness.
Yes.
Or seeking help is
It's
not
not a
sign
sign.
of
Yeah.
weakness. Actually, this is what I wanted to say. It's strength, because we're good in something. It doesn't mean that we're good everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
always good to surround yourself with the right people. Smart people makes you
Yeah.
look
Yes.
smart as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you, Edmond, for being a guest on this podcast. And to all the listeners, I'll be back next week with a new episode.